Hey gang, AV here, and welcome to my review of the Hiya Toys Injustice 2 Wonder Woman. Here she is in the package. As you can see, it's a window box, so you can see the majority of her accessories right through the window there. Here it is from the side. Here's the box from the back. Feel free to pause the video if you'd like to read it. Here it is from the side. Here it is from the top. There it is from the bottom. Now, that's it for the box. Let's get her out of the box. I have already cut the tape and removed the figure previous to the video. So we're going to slide the plastic tray out. As usual, Hiya Toys include this background card. Just like all the other Injustice 2 figures, it is a image of the Daily Planet globe in somewhat disarray. Slide that back into the box, put that off to the side. The figure tray is a two-part construction, so you just slide the top half of the tray off to gain access to the figure and her contents here. As usual, we're going to have a look at the accessories first. Actually, I have her sword and stuff still taped in, so let me remove the tape first. I only messed with this figure a little bit before the video, so. Alright, so anyway, this is her sword, which is really tiny. Compared to other 1/18th scale figures, this is a very small sword. Let me see if I can do an example here. I have, right off to the side here, the accessories for my 4-inch Snake Eyes figure. Now, granted, this is a slightly larger sword, but just to give you a comparison, this is Wonder Woman's sword, 1/18th scale, and this is Snake Eyes' Falconer sword, 1/18th scale. You see the difference? This is a tiny sword. Alright. And we'll see how that fits in her hand, actually. I'll keep that out of the tray. Put that off to the side. Alright, next we have a shield. And compared to my boss fight figures, this is a tiny shield. It's got some decent molded and painted detail on the front. And it looks decent from the back. It's got molded on straps. Go around her wrist. She has closed fists on the figure itself and grasping hands, which are taped in. Let me see if I remove the tape again. After that incident with my one Batman figure in the Batarangs, I'm not a fan of the tape. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the Think Geek exclusive Batman review for that. That was not pleasant. Anyway, here are her grasping hands, and as you can see, they are really tiny. Really, really tiny. I'm actually going to keep her right one out so I can put her sword in it. She also comes with the same display base as all the other Injustice 2 figures. Has a single foot peg right there, and it has these notches on all four sides so that you can use these capital H shaped plugs in the notches and connect multiple bases together at once to form a floor for a diorama, which is, I thought, is a very nice touch. Put that back in there. And finally, let's have a look at the figure itself. Slide that off to the side. Here she is. She looks decent. She looks decent. She is not the best 1/18th scale female figure I've seen. Not by a long shot. but she looks decent. Lasso is permanently attached to her belt there. The boots. All right. Let's stand her up. Adjust the camera. And go over some of her articulation. Her hair is a relatively soft plastic. Does not really hinder the articulation much at all. You do have to watch her hair. It will get caught on her arms if you're not careful. It appears to be on a ball joint, so she can kind of look up and down, but it's really hindered by the hair. You can turn her head, though. That's basically the most realistic articulation you're going to get from her there. She can put her arms down to the side about as far as she has right now. They can go up really high, not hindered at all. They do a full 360 at the shoulder. There's nothing at the bicep. Elbows bend and rotate. Her hands are on a ball joint, and it is really tiny, and her wrists are really, really tiny. As you can see, they look a little funky. Like they're too small. Her wrists are just too small. In my opinion, they should be a little bit bigger than that. I mean, you're not going to fit a bone in there, let alone any tendons or anything to actually use your hand. That's pretty thin. She has an ab crunch right underneath her rib cage there, but as you can see, it doesn't really allow for much movement at all. She really doesn't want to move at all there. It's just kind of there. She's very stiff, and that's not because of the plastic or anything. It's just because the way she's sculpted, there's really no room to move up there. It's a shame. She has nothing at the waist. That's just one solid piece. Her thighs can go out about that far. She has an upper thigh swivel, which allows her legs to do 360 there. Double jointed knees, which she can bring her heel back about that far. Ankles are on a rocker joint, so she can rock, and she can pivot down and pivot forward slightly. So her articulation's not that great, considering that she's a slender figure. You would think that without having a bulky costume, she would be very well articulated, but she's really not, which is a little disappointing. Well, it's very disappointing, frankly, because you want to put her in a dynamic pose, and you just can't. Let's slide her shield on. It goes on easy enough, although you're better off removing the hand, sliding this on, and then putting the hand back on to keep it attached. They're so tiny, lining it up is a little bit of a pain, I won't lie to you. Whoops. Thankfully that did not go on the floor. It's an adult collectible, but having adult fingers sometimes just does not make this easy. Almost got it. There we go. Again, her hands and her wrists are very, very tiny. I'm not a fan of that. Most of the figures in this line have very small hands and slender wrists. Not sure why they went that route with them, but they did. Her shield looks decent when she's holding it. Not too bad. Let's remove this hand. I'm going to put her sword in her hand first. It slides in there all right. It's kind of a... I mean, you can pry the fingers open if you wanted to, but it's not that rubbery. It's not so stiff that it's going to crack on you, I don't think, but it's not exactly rubbery either. All right, come on, get on there. Alright. So there she is with her weapons. And like I said, the sword looks a little small. It's probably not a long sword. It's probably just a short sword. So it's probably supposed to look short, but, it just looks like a knife, in my opinion. Let's do size comparison now. Here she is next to a 4-inch modern G.I. Joe figure, which is pretty much the standard for 1/18 these days. She is of appropriate size. Looks a little smaller next to him, but she's the right size for him. Here is the 3 3/4 inch vintage G.I. Joe next to him. She could kind of fit in with that line as well, I suppose. All in all, I think she's an alright figure. I'm not blown away by her, frankly. I think you may be better off trying to customize a Boss Fight Studio figure to make a decent Wonder Woman. Maybe even pop the head off and use it on there. Use it on one of those bodies, because frankly, this body is not... It's not as posable as it should be. The hands look a little too small. The wrists look a little too small. I'm just not blown away by it. I think she's all right. But just all right, Anyway, this has been AV. This has been my review of the Hiya Toys Injustice 2 Wonder Woman figure. If you like this video, check out my channel. If you like what you see there, then please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.